So Jan, how did this all get started?
Well, the actual sanctuary started when the local zoo closed in 1998, Pensacana Wildlife Park. And we read in the paper that there were 7 chimpanzees there and no one would give them a home, nowhere in the UK. And they were going to shoot them. We phoned up and, went down to see them, had a big shock when we saw how big they were and thought, we know nothing about chimps, what can we do? And thought about it, oh, we can't do it. And then we read in the paper, death row chimps.
Oh.
And that was it, we were hooked.
So how did you go about getting the knowledge you needed to care for those chimps then?
Well, we first of all contacted IPPL, the International Primate Protection League. And they put us in touch with Molly Badham at Twycross Zoo, because although that's a zoo, she had expertise in chimpanzees. She'd been keeping chimpanzees for years, so she would know about diet and security, because chimps are very clever and they can get out of any situation. They're like Houdini. So we had to know, that was the major thing really, designing their enclosure and their building, which we ended up doing on graph paper on the kitchen table. And we had help from other people as well. There was a wildlife vet called Simon Adams. He gave us a lot of assistance and we just asked around,
And since those early days, things have expanded here. Tell me about some of the other apes and monkeys you've now got.
Well, we've had apes now from all over Europe. We've had Germany, Belgium, Bulgaria, Ireland.
So tell me, behind us obviously we've got Baboon Island. Tell me about some of these guys.
Well, some of those baboons came from Ireland when we went over to see 2 more chimps that Simon Adams, the wildlife vet, had said just a few months after we took the original chimps. Oh, I think maybe you'd have space for my 2 chimps in Ireland now. And when we were over there, I saw the baboons and they were in the most horrible enclosure you could ever imagine. The place was bankrupt, so there was nowhere for them to go. So I phoned Simon and I said, what's happening with the baboons? Oh, they're probably, going to be euthanized. Well, there you go. That's why they're here.
They ended up here.
Yeah, and the other half of the group are from a street market in Kuwait.
Gosh, wow. So your work really is worldwide then?
It's worldwide, yes.
And do you find that all the different types of monkeys and apes, they've all settled quite well here?
They've settled remarkably well. They seem to have an instinct when they look at you, and I think they know if they're going to be safe and looked after and that you don't mean them any harm. They just seem to know and they settle quite quickly.
So you've learned quite quickly yourself how to make them settle. For example, you've got the gibbons over there. Tell me about their story.
Well, the 2 of them came from a closed down zoo in Southport. One of them, actually, Yoko, is 40 years old.
Gosh, wow.
And Oliver, the gibbon in the open pen on his own, he came from Penskinner, actually. They were going to sell him and his partner to a dealer who was known for selling to labs. So that's why we took them. And Oliver's partner died a few years ago, but they're monogamous. They don't easily slot into another companionship. It would be like sticking a person whose husband had died into a house with somebody else. And he didn't get along with Yoko at all. So we put him back in his open pen and we've managed to get Yoko and Bernie together. So they're a good friendship.
So you obviously are doing great work with these guys then?
We see them every day, we live here. The keepers are all committed people. They talk to them, they don't just come round, clean and feed. They interact with them. And their powers of observation are really good. And you can just tell,
Do you enjoy it?
Oh, I love it, yes, I love it. I'm sorry not to be working outside more like I was in the beginning.
But obviously, I suppose there's lots of admin.
There's lots of admin and the shop and everything to take care of and all the visitors,
Because that's a good source of income for you as a charity.
It's the only source of income because there's no grant aid for animals in Wales and certainly not in Powys where we are. The lottery doesn't even give to animals.
So where do you see all this going in the next 15 years?
Well, there's 35 acres there as far as your eye can see. If we had the funding, we could cover it.
And
You
there are
know,
monkeys and apes that need rescuing.
yeah, there's 600 baboons in America at the moment that are going to be released from a lab, and rather than kill them, there's a big petition out to release them to a sanctuary. Well, where is 600 baboons going to go?
Maybe here.
Well,